Hello, and welcome back to the Well-Read Monocle. Today, we continue our journey through the anatomy of horror as we open the veins of Books of Blood Volume 3 by Clive Barker. This collection features 5 distinct tales of the macabre, ranging from ancient pagan monsters to the psychological terrors of the modern city. I have analyzed the complete text to bring you a comprehensive, scene-by-scene recap of every story in the collection. So, settle in and steel your nerves. Our first story is Son of Celluloid. The narrative begins with a convict named Barberio, who is on the run with a bullet in his leg and a malignant tumor in his gut. He hides in a crawlspace behind the screen of the movie Palace Cinema, where he dies alone. But while the man dies, his cancer does not. Nourished by the psychic energy of decades of moviegoers, their lusts, fears, and dreams projected onto the screen, the tumor achieves sentience. It becomes a shape-shifting entity, a son of celluloid, capable of manifesting the stars and nightmares of the silver screen. Years later, we meet the cinema staff, Bertie, a cynical ticket seller, and Ricky, the projectionist. A young girl named Lindy Lee is waiting in the lobby for her boyfriend, Dean, who has gone to the restroom and vanished. When Ricky investigates, he finds himself trapped in a hallucination of a Western movie, where he is confronted by a manifestation of John Wayne. Ricky survives the illusion only to find Dean's body in the restroom with his eyes gouged out. The horror escalates when Ricky encounters a figure resembling Marilyn Monroe in the auditorium. She seduces him, but as they embrace, her body transforms into a mass of cancerous flesh that crushes him to death. Bertie is left alone to face the monster. She is attacked by the entity, which shifts rapidly through famous film roles. She realizes the creature is the biological remnant of Barberio, a dreaming disease. Bertie is chased into the crawlspace where Barberio died. In a desperate struggle, she uses her own body weight to trap the gelatinous creature and tears at its flesh until it stops moving. However, the story ends with a chilling epilogue. Bertie tracks down Lindy Lee, the girl from the lobby, to a deserted house in Seattle. The tumor survived by hiding inside Lindy. Bertie confronts her, and the cancer explodes out of Lindy's body. Bertie destroys the final remnant with acid, ending the Son of Celluloid's run forever. Next is the creature feature, Rawhead Rex. In the quiet English village of Zeal, a farmer named Thomas Garrow struggles to remove a massive stone from his field. When he finally dislodges it, he unwittingly breaks the seal of an ancient prison. From the earth rises Rawhead Rex, a 9-foot-tall, child-eating monster that has slept for centuries. Rawhead immediately kills Garrow and begins a rampage to reclaim his territory. The story introduces us to the locals, including the verger Declan Ewan, and Ron Milton, a Londoner visiting with his family. Rawhead brutally attacks the Nicholson farm, killing the family and eating their daughter. The horror reaches its peak when Rawhead attacks the village church. The verger, Declan, falls into madness and submits to the monster, allowing Rawhead to urinate on him in a perverse baptism. Rawhead then encounters Ron Milton's family on a road and snatches Ron's son, Ian, killing him before his father's eyes. Ron, consumed by grief and rage, discovers that the church altar hides a secret weapon, not a Christian relic, but a pagan fertility stone depicting a pregnant woman. This totem represents the feminine principle of life, the one thing the purely masculine, destructive Rawhead fears. In the final showdown, as the village burns, Ron wields the stone. Rawhead, terrified by the image of the bleeding woman, cowers. The villagers, emboldened by the monster's fear, swarm him. They hamstring and beat the beast until Ron delivers the killing blow with the stone itself, ending the reign of the king. Our third tale is the darkly comic revenge story, Confessions of a Pornographer's Shroud. Ronnie Glass is a mild-mannered Catholic accountant who is framed by a criminal gang as the kingpin of a pornography empire. To protect his reputation, Ronnie kills 2 of the gang members, Henry B. and Dork. However, the true boss, a mobster named McGuire, captures Ronnie. He is tortured and executed in a cold storage room. But Ronnie isn't ready to leave. His spirit refuses to move on, instead possessing the linen shroud covering his corpse in the morgue. He becomes a vengeance demon made of cloth. One by one, the animated shroud hunts down his enemies. He kills the pathologist who disrespected his body, then moves on to Maguire's associates. The climax takes place in Maguire's home. Maguire shoots his own wife and associate in a panic, but bullets cannot harm a sheet. The shroud attacks Maguire, forcing its way down his throat and suffocating him from the inside out. In a final twist of irony, the shroud returns to a church, attempting to confess its sins to a priest. But the spirit leaves the cloth before the priest arrives. The priest finds the empty, stained shroud on the floor and, assuming it is just a dirty rag, uses it to wipe up a spill, unaware he is holding the remains of a man's soul. The fourth story is Scapegoats. Four friends, Frankie, Jonathan, Ray, and Angela, are on a yacht that runs aground on a desolate, fog-bound island. They discover the island is essentially a mass grave for sailors washed up by the tides of 2 world wars. In the center of the island, they find a pen containing 3 sheep. These animals are offerings, maintained by a local man to placate the restless dead beneath the stones. However, Jonathan, who is drunk and belligerent, brutally kills one of the sheep, violating the ritual. The island retaliates. The stones begin to move, and the dead rise from the surf. Jonathan is killed by a flying boulder that shears off the top of his head. The remaining friends try to escape, but their boat is destroyed by a barrage of stones. Angela and Ray are killed, their bodies broken by the rocks. The narrator, Frankie, is rescued by the man who tends the sheep, but their escape boat is capsized by the reanimated corpses of the drowned soldiers. Frankie is pulled underwater by the dead, including the freshly turned corpse of Ray. The story ends with Frankie drowning, joining the legion of the dead who wait under the stones. Finally, we arrive at the most psychological story in the collection, Human Remains. Gavin is a young male prostitute who relies entirely on his looks to survive. He is hired by an older archaeologist named Reynolds. In Reynolds' apartment, Gavin discovers a strange, lifelike statue in the bathtub. This statue is a simulacrum, a creature that feeds on identity. Reynolds admits he has been feeding it, and it now desires Gavin. Gavin leaves, but the statue begins to stalk him, slowly transforming to look exactly like him. As the statue becomes more Gavin, the real Gavin begins to feel drained, losing his vitality and his sense of self. Gavin eventually confronts Reynolds, but finds the old man has committed suicide by falling on a sword, unable to live with what he has unleashed. Gavin tracks the doppelganger to his own father's grave. There, he finds the creature weeping, showing an emotional depth that Gavin, in his narcissism, has long lost. Realizing the copy has become a better, more feeling version of himself, Gavin surrenders. He walks away, empty and soulless, wandering blindly into heavy traffic to become a victim of chance, while the artificial Gavin goes on to live his life. And that concludes our tour of Books of Blood Volume 3. Barker presents us with a world where the line between the living and the dead is dangerously thin. Whether it's a cancer fed by movie dreams, a pagan king crushed by a fertility goddess, or a man replaced by his own reflection, the central message is clear: the flesh is weak, and reality is easily usurped by the monsters we create. If you enjoyed this summary, please do leave a like and subscribe to the Well-Read Monocle. Until next time, keep your pages turning and your lights burning.